God Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.
Well, good morning and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're so happy to have you guys with us. Thank you for joining us on Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We appreciate you being here with us. Today we're going to talk about Transformation Tuesday. We welcome you, and I hope that you all learned something from our subject on, and I want to say that lightly. How does your garden grow? How does your garden grow? If you'd like to join us, I would love for you, please, to call in at 1-888-721-9260. And you can text us at 795-0475. You may text us. Today, I want to talk about our growth, our change, our being able to grow properly. As you have went throughout the year 2026, how have you grown? We're asking the question, how does your garden grow? But here's what we're really thinking about, not just your physical garden and that blooming. And don't get me wrong, because I like gardens, the real gardens. But your environment, your own body, your own mindset, your own desire to want to change, to want to become improved. Today's song is The Rose by Bette Midler. You know, we symbolize a lot. You know, symbolization can mean something else. It is a good representation for how you're growing. And how are you growing? Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
And so as we look at our gardens, we prepare them. I love flowers. They're so beautiful, all kinds of flowers, all kinds of growth. Some flowers, though, take a lot of time to nurture. Let's talk about how we're doing. Nurturing ourselves, nurturing the you that you are, nurturing your housed environment, your bodies, your minds. Are you doing? Have you left that unattended? Have you left off from watering or even planting seeds? What kind of seeds are we talking about? Our seeds that we grow are the things that we take in. What are you taking in? What are you consumed with? And if those seeds are there on a daily basis, are they seeds of positive? Are they seeds of negativity? Because we really have to think about which way we're going. Some seeds are harder to plant than others. And we have to understand what we take in. Either it's going to take root or it's going to implant or it's just going to be not useful information. How has your seeding helped you to change? Or have you gotten rid of the seedlings of life and planted a new way, a new beginning? Because sometimes it may be that the seeds didn't take root at all, so you say, I'm going to restart. Or I'm going to spend a little time. And there are seeds that actually you don't even have to root. There are some flowers that you can just throw out there and they begin to grow. You don't believe me? Look it up. We're talking about you today. I'm talking about me today. Growth. How have you grown since we last met? Have you experienced growth? Have you nurtured yourself? What do I mean by nurturing ourselves? How do we nurture ourselves? Let's think about that nurturing. Nurturing is having the sense of taking care of something. Being able to feed, being able to be active, helping it to grow and develop. What are some things that you have nurtured or cultivated in your last week, month, 6 months? What are you committed into doing? Because, anything that you do, you must be committed. And a lot of people hate that word. It's a hard word, but are you going to be loyal to it? Being loyal, dedicated to doing something that you know that you need to do. Like your education, your emotional support, your mental support. How are you going to do that? We are so busy taking care of the needs of others, and we should care for others. That's important. But what about your being active towards your needs? Being patient with yourself, you're being warm with yourself. How do you do it? How do you foster that? How do you seed that in caring for your well-being? Creating safe environments. We talked about the body being that root, just like a garden. In order to get that beautiful garden, you must take care of it. I have oftentimes asked people, how do you get your garden so beautiful? Literally. And they began to tell me, they began to say, well, I water this time of day. I plant this flower this time of year. And they'll tell me if it grows good or if it doesn't, or what flowers are best for the season. Do you know what's best for your season? And what do I mean by that? Let's talk about our feelings. Do you know your needs? How to nourish yourself, how to shelter yourself. And when I say shelter, I'm not talking about not becoming your own person. Sheltering in that you will protect your safe grounds like nobody does it better than you. When we think about the blossoming of a flower, we think about how beautiful they're going to look. And oftentimes we pick flowers and we say, this is what we want. And although there are many varieties and colors of the flowers that you may want, you want that flower. You hope that when that flower blossoms, that it looks exactly like what you have on that packet of seeds. And no doubt you all have probably brought flowers. But those flowers come from somewhere. They come from a root. They come from a seed. And life begins. Oftentimes flowers die. And they die faster if you don't pay attention to them. What is your skill of being able to give that garden of yours attention? Do you want it to reach its full potential, or do you want it to just have that little green stem, if even that? Or do you want a full garden? Sometimes we can water too much. Sometimes we can not water enough. But we don't want you to feel like you don't have independence. Independence, independence, independence. Emphasizing that word is not something strange, but rather independence is the freedom to choose. How many of you are living the life that you want to live, the freedom that you want? How many of you are actually living freely? Because there are things that can choke out your garden. Thorns, thistles, rocks. Sometimes the flowers don't grow because it's crowded with weeded stems. Do you just say, oh well? Or do you stop and say, I want this to be free? Do you do something about it, moving into action? How does your human garden grow? Sometimes when we nurture things, we take action. Some of the things that we have to do is provide comfort. First, to pay attention to what's going on with us. Because you see, we are the type of people that run to comfort others. We don't even have to know what's wrong with them. The moment we say they're not feeling good, we want to bring them comfort by doing what? Making them well, making them feel better. So we say, let's nurture them. Today I'm going to provide for them a meal. And although that meal is going to do a body good, what about yourself without promoting selfishness? How do you comfort yourself when you have symptoms of not being okay? Do you look for encouragement? Because, we thrive off of encouragement. That is how we develop. Or are we still waiting for good job from someone else? What is the last thing that you've done that you actually said to yourself, good job? Trish?
I honestly can't remember because I don't. It's not a regular thing for me to say to myself.
Okay. We know that this conversation is a raw conversation, and sometimes because we don't hear it enough, we have a hard time. How difficult is it for us to say it to someone else? We do it without thinking. So I want you to think about how you support yourself, because how is it that we're able to pour on to someone else good job when we can't even say it to ourselves? We are oftentimes our worst critic. And that's like taking a shovel, because we need tools, don't we, to grow our gardens, and picking out all the beautiful flowers, all the beautiful work that you've done. You're finding a spot to shovel it out. You're using your tool incorrectly. So with that tool, that little shovel that you saw your parents maybe use in a literal garden, you see them use it correctly. They're cultivating, preparing, so that those flowers or their garden is going to be beautiful. We want to encourage you to grow your human gardens by giving yourself development of encouragement. Are you a person with new ideas? Can you lend a helping hand by saying, wow, I have an idea? Every day, what happens behind the doors of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, we don't just put on a podcast. We are developing, we are creating new ideas. How you perceive Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We've used our shovels right. When I first began, I really would instill in a lot of the group power of tool using. Your brain, your tongue, your ears, your hands. See, they're like those shovels, and you can use it in the right way to be able to give yourself and support yourself. And you've done that. You've all done it. You ever cooked a meal and someone said, that was really good? Have you ever done that, Trish?
Yes.
So someone has encouraged you. We encourage our gardens to grow by giving them support people even taught to their plants. Allowing yourself to be cared for is to allow yourself to be supported. Allowing yourself to be cared for is allowing yourself to be encouraged. I want you to think about that. When you nurture self-growth, you want to give what is called soft. Whenever you're going to seed something and plant something, do you start with the roughest mound of dirt, or do you prepare your soil? You want to give it that environment so that it will have potential development. You want it to be free to grow. When you nurture someone, and we're talking about ourselves first, because before we give to others, we must recognize it ourselves. Are you able to validate your feelings? We judge ourselves almost immediately. We take away from ourselves in that we will credit someone else at the demise of ourselves. When we offer reliable reassurance and repetition of reliable and reassurance, that is being consistent in what you're able to do. We talk a lot about challenges. What are some of our challenges? Well, what would be some of the challenges in your beautiful garden? Stones, thistles, rocks, not planted deep enough. I want you today to offer yourself a safety net. Safety net where you feel comfortable, where it's comfortable for you to grow, where you expect yourself to grow, because nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Oftentimes when we plant something, we plant it in different weather settings. Some of us have harsh weather, depending on the time of year, depending on where we live, while others of us are enjoying beautiful weather, not always in California. But what do we do if we want something beautiful, if we want our flowers to bloom? Here's something we do. We discipline, we protect, we set boundaries, because our flowers can grow in some of the harshest environment. When we talk about self-growth, again, I ask you today, how does your garden grow? Let's talk about treatment. How do you treat yourself? Before I ask that question, I want you to think about and list mentally the people that you love. The people that you say that you love. From the easiest person that it's easy to say, I love you. You want to remind them every day that you love them, right? And so you don't forget to say, I love you. We've learned first to do it to our parents. And then our parents teach us normally to love others. We start loving our families. We go to school. You hear the students say they love their teachers. Why? Because something has happened. What are some of the things that have happened? Growing. You found something that you liked. You found something that you loved. And so what did you do? You cultivate it. You practice daily how it made you feel. It's like this. If you were to stand before your peers and your teachers and they harshly criticize you, will those words be, I love you? No. You would no doubt wonder why they treat you harshly. And then the next step is to understand. You would want to understand why. Why are they so harsh? Just like the weather can be harsh on the most beautiful gardens. But now, the same understanding that I would want you to give to someone else, you give it instantly, but oh, yourself, you hold back on that. How many people have you given understanding to? Sounds like this. Maybe they're not having a good day. Maybe something happened. They're not usually that way. I want you to give yourself understanding. If that is something that you need to put in your human garden, give yourself more of that. Self-compassion. You know that sick friend that I told you about? Sometimes there are days when you don't feel well. You are not your best. So you put little effort because you're not feeling well. And so you give yourself what is a timeout, a break, a rest. Why? Because you say to yourself, I'm not feeling well. If you're not doing well or you're not feeling well, you need to practice compassion. Lately in your garden, have you had things that drain your energy? Not only that, but it keeps draining you. What if you never watered your garden? What do you think the outcome would look like, Trish?
The plants will die. They'll shrivel up.
Yeah. And that's like our battery. All of us, we know what it takes to be able to re-energize ourselves, to renourish, to rebound, to reset. I want you to think about what drains you in your life and be open and honest about what is draining you in your life. Going back to our physical gardens, and I'm using this illustration because all of us have seen, if not are growing, our own literal growth. You are your own garden, humanly speaking. You don't want to shrivel up, not normally, but you want to set boundaries. You want people to respect your boundaries. We interact with people all day long. How's that going for you? Are you choosing to be around people that sap your energy? If you've said more than once, that person is exhausted, or every time I think of that name right now, I want you to think of the person that exhausts you the most and be honest. Be honest with yourself. You see that person, you're in contact, you interact with that person, and you're going to get the same result of them sapping your energy. What's the reaction of that? If there's no power fusing with needed power, what do you have? A negative. But if there is same energy of positive power, what happens? It sparks. It comes alive. It's like having a sun beat down on a wilted flower that's already wilted. How do you do with your energy? Are you just the person that just loves to be sapped of energy? Respect your human garden. I want to talk about nourishment because when I see the most beautiful flowers or the most beautiful trees or the greenery, they're getting nourished. And if it's one thing that I want you to take away from this subject today, how does your garden grow? I want you to think about something that you must change. Isn't that funny, Trish, how we've been doing our Transformation Tuesdays, and it's all about different change? We're going back to feeding your bodies. What are you prioritizing? Sometimes I have people say to me, you need to drink more water, but I'm not saying that to myself. And I know that water is a necessity, so I have to make a change. Some people might not eat well or not eat at all, skip a meal, skip 2 meals. What do you do well to maintain your physical needs? We play and we work hard. We get a weekend to play or work, your choice. Do you ever think about those routines? Or do you just do them without thinking? See, nourishment creates for us a change in pattern. It creates a change that we do something different. We're required in our human garden, our own bodies, to rest, work, sleep, and even reward ourselves for the good things that we do. And plants and flowers need that extra nourishment. And so you give it what? Maybe a little more sunlight, a little more water without completely drowning it. So what do you practice? You know, people go to the gym. People go to their religious meetings. People go to their college classes. Do you commit to using your energy on such things where you're feeling good? Are you engaging in practices that doesn't make the you that you know you could improve feel better? You ever taken a walk? Anybody? You ever
I
taken?
have.
And how did the walk make you feel?
It made me feel good.
Yeah. Because you see, that walk that we decide that we want to take, we're choosing that. Trish says her walk made her feel good. Sometimes I see people brisk walk, walking fast, and I know they're going to get tired, but some people are committed to doing that every day, although they're tired. And I'm not asking you to do that every day. I'm asking you to choose your walk. Some of us stroll when we walk because we're taking it all in. And if you've strolled while you're walking, you're able to pay attention. You're able to see. If you're doing it in a park, you can see everything ahead of you, around you. But if you're running, you can't see anything ahead of you. Taking your time. Walking is also good for the human heart. Depends on how we look at it. We don't want to do something that doesn't make us feel good. How many times do we repeat ourselves and we get the same result and it doesn't make us feel good? We don't want to do it because it's not rewarding. If we're doing that, I'm going to ask you, how is your human garden growing? Or do you just think about it? Because some of us are people that we do things without thinking. We do it with no purpose other than this is what we do. And I know people like that do things without thinking. It's just habit. No feeling into it. This is what I do. But I want you to think about the seeds that you're planting and think about cultivating your mental mindset. And ask yourself about your progress. You don't have to be perfect because nobody here is perfect. And I guarantee you, in all the places that have listened to us, there's not one perfect person. Ask yourself these questions. What did you do well? And what inspires you? I'm going to Repeat that again. Come a little closer as you are growing and developing your mental gardens, your emotional gardens, your human gardens. No, not the flowers, but your self. What is it that you do well? What is it that you've done well? And what inspires you? Why do you think those are two very important questions? What you did well and what inspires you? I think there isn't enough talk about our connections to what we know about ourselves, because it's easy for us not to think about it, just do it. Some of us don't even think about getting dressed, we just do it. Some of us it's like a ritual for us, but I want you to give yourself intentional purpose and ask yourself this week. Lines are open, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself intent and purpose and ask that question. What did you do well? And what inspires you? Those are questions that only you can answer. Maybe you're here, or maybe you're going to listen and say, you know what? I don't care how my garden grows. And maybe you're going to come in thinking I'm talking about the Arboretum. Because even that title draws you. How does your garden grow? Sometimes in the life of the flowers, in order to have beautiful blossoms, we must identify what needs to be adjusted. Because every flower doesn't grow the way we want. We might have to make adjustments. The next time something that you do doesn't come out quite right, I want you to think about, what adjustment can I make? For the next thing I have to do. You know, many of you are being challenged in life. I want to talk about that, and this is going to be a hard conversation. Because we live for others. Some of us. You know how I know that? Because we start to ask, oh no, somebody's going to be so upset with me. How many times have you ever said that in your life, Trish?
A lot.
Yeah. And you can think of the people that first come to your mind, right? Whether it be your kids, your parents, your workmates, your college mates, your peers. But there's something that I want you to grow. I want you to grow independence. Where you are independent and that you have a list of expectation for yourself. I want to add something that I think is really important. We had a graduation ceremony just a few days back. It's recorded, by the way, for those of you who'd like to listen. And there's something I used to do when school started for my children, when school started for myself, because I had to go to college in order to get accreditation for being an educator. And Trish, you know what I'm talking about. Do we have an expectation for ourselves? You know, because a lot of us want to pass. You say, I'm in it, I want to pass. I don't care about anything else, I just want to pass. And there is nothing wrong with that. But here's where we get on rocky roads, because we start to not have any expectation for ourselves. We just say, I want to pass. And I'm asking you, on every person that is going through an academic course should ask themselves, what do they expect from these college courses, from these, whatever school you're going to, whatever job, because sometimes we expect too much, and then when we fail, and I don't call it failing because they are challenges. It's going to depend on how you look at it. I literally saw a dying flower, and I'm going to use a flower that I know some facts about. I've seen my mother prune her flowers. I don't know how to do that, but I've seen her do it, and that flower is renewed if it isn't overkill. Restoring yourself to expect or to have expectation for yourself. Because here's what we do. We bury the shovel because why? We keep pounding that shovel because we think we failed. We are mad at ourselves because we are expecting from others to get that smile of approval. But I want you to be independent in that you are expecting greatness for you. Aren't you worth it? Expectation. And I want to go back because I know I talk and I forget to say things going back to our graduation ceremony. I forgot one thing that I always expected when my children were coming up. I didn't only expect them to learn, I expected the teachers to teach them. And every year when I signed their report card, I wrote down my goal for the teacher and for my student. I always did that so that the teacher would know that I had expectations too. One, I want my child to learn. I want him to be challenged. And I want that teacher to stand accountable to be able to reach that goal. Sometimes we let ourselves off the hook because we say, we just want to pass, but it should be more than that. Because in about 5 years, you're going to forget everything you learned in that class. All but maybe a small percentage. I couldn't tell you a lot of things because time is of the essence and time has went on. But I can tell you, because of my expectation, it brought change. Change. And to change the way I may have done something. Teacher has to change her way or his way. Students have to change their way. Expectation and adjustments. When I think about outgrowing something, a gardener is a gardener because why? Plants, right? And now that he's a gardener and you've seen his work, you say, wow, wow, he's so good that he can actually have a nursery, not a baby nursery, but one where plants are. So now his title's changed because of his professionalism. Sometimes we have to outgrow comfortable titles. What we start to do as we grow our human gardens, our brains become widened. Especially if you like something that you learn, you want to know more. And so you become educated, not only as a student, but you can go now and tell people about the things that you've learned. So you outgrow the things that kept you from growing. You know, those things that outweighed, you know, the thickets that intertwined with the root of your flower and almost choked out the flower. That kind of outgrowth. You began to set boundaries. And boundaries, I love. Have you nurtured yourself that much? Because if you are, your blossoming is going to speak without words. I encourage you, if you have not, to please go and visit your national parks and see the blossom. Your human bodies, your mind can do all those things, create beautiful things where you actually draw people toward you. And the things they know about you, such as that person does not put up with drama, that person does not allow negativity. I want you to set up a boundary for yourself. I want you to think about growing your human gardens. What are those human gardens? Your brain, your heart, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you create. Be that person. It's only then that you can answer that question of how does my garden grow? We're going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures. Right back in a moment. Do you want to know about the Healing Center? The Healing Center. It's all about your personal journey, both mental and emotional well-being. Join me and book me at 1-888-721-9260. Hope to see you soon. We are back with Trisha's Treasures. Trish?
Speaking of growth, last night I was scrolling on Facebook Reels and I saw one of the videos, and it was about how this 9-year-old, she has a sensory eating disorder, so she's sensitive to texture, to color, and her taste is different. Things she can't really choose. Well, she tries to choose foods to eat, but it's hard for her to get used to some foods. And I've seen so many people be so insensitive to that sort of disorder in the comment section, but what I really loved about her page is that I wondered, how does she grow from this? Because I see that she's trying more food. She's getting used to more foods. And so I scroll down because I want to know how she started. Just like a seed. I want to know where did that flower grow from? Where was the root? Where is it at? So I looked and I saw that her story basically it started when she was 1 years old. She basically didn't want milk from for food. She as babies do. She stopped eating the baby food, and so her parents basically went to therapy with her to help her sensory and to develop more inclusion in her meals that she eats. And so she started her journey on YouTube and she started trying new foods. And she has grown so much and she really inspired me. She really did. I was up 4 o'clock in the morning watching her videos and I'm so inspired by her. And just this episode today, this podcast, this topic today, it made me really think about what am I growing in? What seeds do I need to plant in my life? And how can I continue to inspire me? Because you can inspire yourself by exceeding low expectations that you have for yourself. You can inspire yourself to keep going and keep growing. And I thought about if I had a garden, what are the things that I would do to make my plants grow even more? So, first things first, I thought that the plants that I need space, that I have need space. Because if you know anything about plants, if they're all clumped together, some plants that are clumped together, they can grow just fine, but some plants they can't. So it'll get tangled in the roots and it stunts their growth. So I would have space in my plants because space gives me time to grow and it gives me a good pace for myself in things that I want to grow, things that I want to work on my time, and it helps me be patient with myself. Secondly, I would have a schedule on when to check on my plants because sometimes life gets busy and you don't check on yourself, you don't check in with yourself. So I thought if I had a garden, I would check on my plants, make a schedule to take time, go and nourish my plants, water them, make sure they're getting enough sunlight, but not too much sunlight, and just make sure that they're growing just fine. And third, I would talk to my plants. My grandma has always told me it's okay to talk to your plants. It helps them grow. She always told me that since I was little because she's a garden grower. That's my grandma. So I would talk to my plants, meaning I would talk with myself, do some reflection with myself, and see what I'm growing in, and basically encourage myself to keep going, keep growing. You need to work on this. It's okay. You had challenges today, but you can grow from that. You can be resilient. So, in closing, what are you going to do with your garden? Are you going to start it? Are you going to wait? Are you going to continue to nurture your garden? Or are you going to forget about it? Put it at the back of your mind. It is your choice. We always encourage you guys to make your own choices. But I hope that you guys make the choice to grow. Thank you.
Trisha's Treasures is brought to you by Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. If you want more of Trisha's Treasures, please go to our YouTube channel and follow, subscribe, and if you like it, you love it. We're back, and I hope that we can make a change. Couple of announcements. Friday, there is no group session. I will not be here. But we will return next week. We have how many videos, Trish?
I have to check, but it's like 900 and something.
Okay. So with that being said, go on over. We can't encourage you guys enough. Here's what we want. We want people not to just like something, but why are you liking it? Why has it affected you? We don't do follow for follow. Okay. We are interested in you. If you really want to be a part of what we do, we're interested in you if you're doing something that is purposeful. I must add that. We have Instagram. We are starting to include where you can find us, where you can look for us. Don't be afraid to like us or subscribe, because we're not in it for the like how they do the monetizing. That's not why we're doing this. We're doing this because a lot of people need this. And if we didn't think so, we wouldn't be going into a 7th year. Can you guys believe that? So we just want to make those announcements. You can reach us. You can call in even if we're not here, which we do directly connect with you. If there is any problem on our phone line, let us know. When you comment, okay, please let us know where you're listening to us from. We like to do that. We hashtag your cities, your states, your countries, because there's so many people that are interested in something like this. The Healing Center. We do still have it. We've changed addresses. The address is private, and we want to keep it that way for the protection of everyone involved. Now, if you want to come to the Healing Center and you've met with me and I've met with you and it's a good fit, we are definitely going to let you know what that address is. So it is not at our old address anymore. And sometimes we have to change things for the better, and we're always appreciative of what was, and we want to thank management for that. But we have moved our center, and if you want to get with me, you will see Book It or Book Me, and you will have the number 1-888-721-9260. If you don't leave a message, we don't know that you've called. You can even text us 661-795-0475. You can text us there, say hi to us. We have questions. We have sometimes things that are going on, and you might not know it if you're not following us. So we're looking for real heart-to-heart conversations, Trish and I. And I want to thank Trish. Trish, is there anything that you'd like to add that maybe I forgot, or something you want to mention?
Not now, no.
Okay. Also, if you want to contribute, donate toward us, we'll accept that. We're still accepting for our healing center, our workshops. We need art supplies, and if you want to do a workshop, just let us know that you'd like to be included in that. And we're going to be reposting for the summer so that you guys know what is available to you from us. Thanks, everybody. And don't forget, if there's any women or men out there, we have workshops exclusively for you. Our women's workshop is a woman's perception of herself, okay? And that's for women to raise awareness of all that you can be, and you can be those truly beautiful flowers. In men, we know that you've been stressed and you're going through some things. We don't forget you. We have one exclusively for you. Men and their emotions. Let's talk about it. I'm here. Thank you, Trish, and thank you to the audience. Thank you. And please let us know how you felt about today's Transformation Tuesday. Bye for now.